This is a tomb cherished by millions. It is built atop a mountain peak. Every day, you can watch the sunrise and sunset. Not only is it fully furnished inside, but outside, a vegetable garden has been cultivated. At night, you can even make wishes upon shooting stars. Anyone who sees it would want to live here. As the last of the green envelops the forest, a Yong is here collecting logs. A wildfire once occurred here. So many of the logs have burn marks. And the spruce trees before him. Each weighs over 100 pounds, making it quite laborious to transport them. Not to mention, each one needs to be debarked. Otherwise, reworking them later would be very troublesome. Since the initial preparation is time-consuming, a Yong set up a canopy between two large trees as a temporary resting spot. After he finished debarking all the logs, a heavy rain suddenly fell in the forest. This unexpectedly delayed his construction progress. Fortunately, A Yong has a very positive attitude. After the rain, he quickly cut some wooden stakes and placed them on the grass to prevent the logs from being soaked by the water. His future home will be built on the mountain peak, so he chose to process the materials at the foot of the mountain in advance. This will save a lot of time during the subsequent assembly. After confirming the dimensions of the cabin, he drew outlines on the logs with a pencil. Then, using a special curved saw, he cut notches at both ends of the logs to ensure that when they are fitted together, they can always hold hands and be heart to heart. If he had a girlfriend to help him now, a Yong's efficiency would increase several times. Are you guys still single? You might be just one Momo away from finding a partner. Shared interests are clear at a glance. Truly sincere and reliable. Finding a partner is a breeze. Next, he processed more logs using the same method. But there were always gaps when the logs were joined together, so he decided to flatten the surfaces directly. This way, not only will they not roll when joined, but he can also fill in insulation material later. It's a win-win situation. The next day, a thick fog covered the forest, and the shelter he is building is located high up in the clouds. To move into his new home as soon as possible, he asked his good brother to help him today. Unfortunately, his brother doesn't have much construction experience, so Young did most of the work. But it only took a week for the walls to reach half a person's height. Considering that he will definitely be admiring the scenery in the future, he specifically processed some short logs so that he could leave space for windows while building up the walls. Before his new home is ready, the meals he makes for himself are very simple. Lunch is just a cup of coffee and a steak. After all, the available kitchenware is limited. After he had eaten and drunk his fill, he finally put the last beam of the cabin in place. A Yong is one step closer to his dream. To celebrate this moment, the two of them, in high spirits, even showed off their talents. The older brother is good at playing the harmonica. The second brother is good at playing the banjo. And a Yong, who has no talent, can only clap. The next day, they went to the foot of the mountain together to transport the logs up. It was raining constantly, and the almost vertical cliff added a lot of difficulty to the transportation work. Fortunately, the second brother had his own method. He tied a rope on top of the cliff, connected it to a pulley, and created a lifting device using a large tree. This allowed them to easily transport the logs up. There happened to be a good open space on the mountaintop. A Yong first raised one side of the foundation with stones. After confirming it was level with a spirit level, he then placed the bottom beams. Because these logs have already been notched, a Yong just needed to stack them up. Besides that, the most time-consuming part was laying moss at the connections for insulation. And when he felt tired, he would look at the beautiful scenery around him. Mountains, rivers, the gentle breeze and clouds are all recording his construction of his new home. After becoming skilled with the pulley tool, he could easily transport things even by himself. You can see that each log is numbered. This ensures that they are all placed correctly during construction. Despite having no help, a Yong still built 4 layers. As he continued to build higher, he needed to drill holes in the logs and then use wooden pegs to secure them. However, laying the roof would be more difficult, so he called his 2 brothers to help again. With 2 extra pairs of hands, a Yong's efficiency greatly increased. This mountaintop cabin began to take shape. For the roof construction, he chose to use purchased composite boards directly. After laying a layer of insulation material at the bottom, he pressed it down with the composite boards. And for the tiles, he used asphalt shingles. After all, winter is coming soon, and he doesn't have much time left. As soon as he finished this task, a strong wind suddenly began to blow in the forest, followed by falling snowflakes. This snowstorm lasted for 3 full days. Fortunately, since he had already sealed the roof, the mountain road in winter is extremely difficult, so Ayong had to use a trailer to transport the wood. When the weather improved slightly, he had already cut the wood into planks and stacked them neatly inside his cabin. You can see that the space under the cabin is very large, so Ayong placed 2 logs underneath, besides providing reinforcement. He also plans to convert it into a storage room later to store food or firewood. Excellent. Tonight's dinner is fried bread and 2 soft-boiled eggs. Although it's not filling, it's high in calories, and the night passed with the stars shifting in the sky. The next day, he quickly moved many stones and first enclosed the underground storage room. Fortunately, there are plenty of stones in the mountains, enough for Ayong to use them freely. After finishing, he used the previously cut wooden boards to seal the inner roof bit by bit, ensuring that the melting snow would not cause any leaks. This task was a major undertaking. It took Ayong a total of 4 days to complete, but he was very happy. After all, working in this environment is definitely a kind of enjoyment. And as the main body of the roof was completed, the brothers brought Ayong new windows. He then carefully repaired the window frames. These 2 1-meter-long extra-large windows are sufficient to provide enough light for the cabin. He had just finished this task when a snowstorm started in the sky. Fortunately, he had already sealed the windows in making the cabin completely impervious to the cold. As the snow in the forest grew heavier, he unhurriedly processed some wooden boards, preparing to lay the floor for the cabin. With the guys all here today, Ayong's work efficiency has improved a lot, and each piece of wood is cut very neatly. Laying them is as simple as stacking building blocks. Soon, the floor was completed. Finally, Ayong made the cabin door. Then, he cut the door frame according to the size of the door. This door looks very exquisite. No wonder it took them a whole day. The considerate big brother even installed a doorknob for the cabin, making it look more beautiful. At this moment, the afterglow of the sunset made the cabin look very warm. And after Ayong installed the last fireplace, even though the interior of the cabin is not yet complete, he can make do and live in it. To celebrate the completion of his new home, even the heavens sent a meteor shower to celebrate. A happy Ayong immediately fried some sausages and started preparing tonight's dinner. Due to the simple conditions, he could only prepare some onions for the side dish, as well as green, red, and yellow peppers. He added some red beans and corn with soup. Although this meal wasn't exactly delicious, but the brothers ate very happily together. After a day of rest, Ayong removed the ceiling boards, preparing to install a smoke vent for the fireplace. After tidying up, he went outside. Just by looking at the thickness of the snow, you can tell how cold a Russian winter can be. After confirming the size, Ayong started cutting right away. This is not at all out of line. Now the smoke pipe can be fixed. Thanks to the precise calculations during construction, there were no mishaps during installation. Finally, Ayong installed the fireproof and the waterproof rubber plug. The entire smoke exhaust system is now complete. It looks simple and elegant. Even with the heavy snow outside, it's not cold at all inside. Since it's still a bit early to go to bed, with nothing to do, he went out and cut a Y-shaped branch to use as a shelf in the shelter. Then he cleaned up the trash and laid out his down sleeping bag. After he simply arranged his home, the wooden cabin finally felt like a living space. Tonight the temperature is minus 30 degrees and it is snowing heavily. But Ayong, with a home and a fireplace, is very content. After sleeping on the floor for one night, the next day he was awakened by the morning sun. Since he hasn't made a dining table yet, breakfast can only be made on the fireplace. Today, Ayong wants to eat steak, pan-fried to medium well and paired with whole wheat bread. It's a very delicious meal. This meal was devoured by the 3 brothers in a few bites. With ample energy, they directly flattened the gable wall preparing to install a triangular window here. It can only be said that they have very high requirements for lighting. However, the path to the summit is very difficult to walk on. Every time materials are transported, it's a huge test of physical strength. He didn't rush to process the transported wooden boards. The original number of shelves was too small, therefore he had to add some more. This way, there is more than enough space to store the clothes of the three brothers. Then, using wooden boards and iron nails, he assembled a cabinet. Now the pots and pans have their own place. There's still some left over. He also put together the rest of it. After securing the support at the bottom, he instantly had a bed frame. This bed is made so sturdy that Ayoung can dance on it without it shaking at all. And there's plenty of space underneath to store miscellaneous items. And after his trail camera was set up for a week, it successfully captured animals foraging for food. As the harsh winter passes, the wilderness finally shows signs of spring. The beehive that the three brothers built in the fall has already yielded its first batch of honey. Unfortunately, their bees did not survive the cold winter. Its crystal-clear appearance left Ayoung full of praise. Today, a strong wind is howling outside. To prevent the cold wind from blowing in, Ayoung also used hemp rope to seal the four corners of the cabin, ensuring that not a single bit of heat escapes. Under his gradual renovations, this home has become more and more perfect. The melted snow on the mountaintop turned into a spring snowstorm, leaving many animals homeless. Fortunately, his wooden cabin is built and is not affected at all. To celebrate the arrival of spring, the big brother made some fried cakes on the side, while Ayoung went to pick green leaves and wild Ganoderma lucidum to make soup and tea. It's both healthy and nourishing. For dipping sauce, they chose cream and honey. After eating and drinking their fill, they naturally extinguished the bonfire. This fire prevention awareness is excellent. The sunset on the mountain peak is also very beautiful. Before they knew it, they had played until dark. After returning to the shelter, Ayoung first fixed a branch on the window frame. Then he put up the homemade curtains. Now they can sleep soundly even during the day. At this point, Ayoung's mountaintop cabin is considered completely finished. They can live peacefully in the wild.